Right, I'm going to give it a couple seconds here, make sure the stream gets caught up. There we
Oh,
go.
look, you're live now.
Yeah. Yeah, it appears so. We're going to go ahead and give a couple minutes for maybe people to start filtering in or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna mute it so I don't have to.
yeah, I had to mute it on my end. I'm using a video for feedback, but other than that. So yeah, this is a fun little game, an indie game called Interstellar Rift. And they do a lot of really similar things to Star Citizen, at least what Star Citizen wants to do. It's kind of a building game. You can build whatever you want as long as you get the, oh, I see that.
They figured us out.
Yeah, they figured us out exactly. Well, yeah,
Know
so,
what we're planning on doing.
yeah. Interstellar Rift does a lot of great things with its multi-crew and with UI. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use my ship here. Looks like the station got bumped again, but there it is. I found.
Oh yeah, it definitely got bumped.
It did, yeah. So I found an Enterprise on Steam, and then I gutted it, rebuilt it, changed the hull a bit. I even made us add cannon weapons, torpedoes, front and back. It didn't have any of that on Steam, and gave it a bunch of functionalities. And I spent I must have spent weeks working on. It's like, yeah, the outside was good, but the inside was terrible. So anyway, so one of the things we want to talk about first, real quick, is, hey, see anything familiar here?
Oh, the Omni tool.
Look!
Yes.
Oops! I'm accidentally walking when using the Omni tool. Isn't that weird? So yeah, that's one thing going on here. You can do everything pretty much in the game here. You can like, encyclopedia if you want to go ahead and look up different materials and stuff you want to. It's all here
literal
for you.
crafting recipes are in the game.
Yeah, yeah. You want to go ahead and hack a device or turn a device on or off while you're facing it. You can do it from here. Check your faction status with different groups. Starter helmet. Can rotate.
Yeah, we can craft armor as well.
Yeah.
It's expensive though.
Yeah, there's no back button on that one though. All right, so yeah, ship map. If you can look at your map of where you are currently, and let's see here, and of course fleet and crew. So you can set like the options of, who's in your crew. You can go ahead and go back and set permissions, like what your people in your fleet can do when you're inside of a ship, like if they can run systems or whatever.
We actually think that Interstellar Rift has better multi-crew, but that's not much of a stretch because multi-crew in Star Citizen is just being able to sit on someone else's ship.
Yeah, you really can't do too much with that right now. Of course, this game lets you go out, you get missions and whatnot. And you have a bank here where you can store your stuff, and also a crew or a fleet bank. We don't have a fleet yet, so basically, you can share things between different people. So if he's out there harvesting fuel here, he can put it in there so everyone can use it. And we thought about it's kind of a bit of a cheat to a degree because he can be in a whole different system, throwing down advanced resources, and I could be here in the starting zone, which we felt was a better place to broadcast, at least a safer one. And and throw his stuff in here so I can use whatever. So let's go ahead and jump over to the ship real quick. And I think I should. Yeah, so I gotta make sure I choose the right ship. My mouse slipped. There we go. All right, so let's just teleport up to the bridge. And like a lot of these games, it's kind of interesting because some games, for example, like Evocron, like you can fly down to planets and all the stuff. Same things you can do to Star Citizen, but you can't get out of your ship and walk around. In this game, you can't get down to planets, but you can walk around your ship. So it's always like Star Citizen tries to like mesh all that together, and hopefully they can get it done right. So here, they've added the captain's chair.
Oh yeah, this is new. When we last played, this wasn't a thing.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and turn these control panels on. And let's see here.
Don't self-destruct.
I don't want to self-destruct. Let's go ahead and hit. Ooh, I can pick a different color than red for red alert.
Like green alert?
Oops. Yeah, green alert.
A code beige alert?
You said don't hit self-destruct. My finger was just right over the top of it. I haven't done this. There you go. Red alert. It changes the lighting in the ship. I'm gonna make it
magenta alert.
Green alert.
Even though it says red. I guess you have to change it to green alert.
Yeah. Green alert. I can turn that off. So that lets everyone know that something's going on. Of course, you can look at your ship stats, your limited fuel resources, armor, hull, shields, all of it, your hull temperature as you're getting into more dangerous areas, your oxygen level, because the oxygen does run out. And of course, there's other things as well. In fact, I might show some of this on a separate screen because I can get close. Oh, you're flying. Because like, why's my ship spinning? All right. So
I
anyway,
have taken hostage.
you got scanners. You can kind of see what's in your general area. Sorry about that. And tasks. So I could say, Lightning Dragon, I want you to.
It's kind of fiddly, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's still in development though. Go to ship room, and then add task to room. Where is it here? My
Like
ship.
I said, it's a little fiddly.
Yeah, it's very little fiddly. Refinery system, and then assign.
And I just got a pop-up that said, go to refinery system on this ship, and then I can do the double dot bracket key to dismiss it.
Yeah, so it's kind of a way you can, through nonverbal, send commands to different people in your ships. And I'm gonna close it. I see that self-destruct button, man. I was like, it's like, for me, it's like, it's just, it's really, So he's flying right now, and if he was to get out of the seat, I would take control. If I was sitting in the seat, you don't have to do that. So here, you can activate your weapons. When I activate, it takes a moment for them to charge up and turn on. And these are lockable weapons, and there we go. So I can take control of these weapons from my side, and so he can fly, and then I can take control and run the weapons independently. And since I have these gimbaled pulse lasers on here, I can just basically point where I want to go, or effectively, because the way I have it set up, I could probably just go to the outside and target like this, since they're set up a certain way, and be able to shoot in a much broader scope.
Whoops.
Yeah, don't blow up my ship.
No, I was moving the camera by accident.
All right, so on here is that once again back to that systems panel I was showing earlier, and you can go ahead and shows you your power settings here. You can look at all the individual different systems and the power levels they're at. There's like batteries and generators, all of it. So you can go along and kind of see if you're burning too much power, if you need to shut something down. Because you can actually, like, if we're jumping and I start doing something, basically you can even drain warp power to the point that it drops you out because you're doing too much at once. And it says, okay, you need to turn something off. You have firewalls because you can actually hack your opponent's ships to shut down their systems, turn their shields off, turn their engines off. And so there's PvP and PvE servers in this game, so it's whatever you prefer. But basically,
we are playing on PvE.
Yeah, because it's much easier to do this kind of stuff, and we just like building things. That's our jam. So yeah, you can, and not only can you hack other people's stuff, but you have to have defenses on yours. You can set up like these different. Obviously, this is a firewall screen, so there's a hacking terminal in the ship somewhere. It's a big ship, so. The great thing about this game
is probably on the bridge somewhere.
Is I can play with this ship solo. Now, I can't utilize all the functionality. The more people you have in the ship, the better it runs. Like, I can't run the torpedo bays in the front and back. I'm not going to be able to.
It's under the bridge.
Yeah, and I can't do refining at the same time. I'm scanning for and flying around. I have to like get out of the chair after I find something, then go down to the refining room. You can build smaller ships that will be very efficient for a single person to use. This one I made with the idea of at least 2 people in mind, 3 with my brother, because that way I can have each one of them in a torpedo room, and then I could be flying and using the weapons in the front. So it's just versatile enough, but it'll easily handle 10 people, and everybody will have something that they can do. So as I said, you can check the stat, like change the colors, like if they're damaged or whatnot. List of the stations in the area. There's just a lot of good stuff here. Let me go, let's see, return. Yeah, go back to basics. All right, so here shows your weapon status. You can go ahead and, that's free flight. Obviously, just do your camera toggle here if you don't want to hit the hotkey. We've got, you turn your shields on or off here. Shields are a power drain, so obviously if you're trying to save fuel, or if you're not in an area that's dangerous, maybe you want to turn your shields off to save that energy. And here's for scanning with resources. I would select the filter, say I'm looking for, I don't know, iron, since we're close to an asteroid field that has iron, water, and copper. All right, so I'm gonna return, activate that. Now these peaks will show you like the direction, like if you're facing, now this whole field is full of it, so you're gonna see like this is all gonna be green pretty much all the time. But as you're flying along, these are like way down here, and they're just all solid white. And as you start approaching something, it starts to peak up. And when it turns green, you should be within harvesting distance, so that basically you can tell your people down below that, hey, you know, I'm heading towards, you know, carbon. You know, go ahead and grab it when it gets in the range. So some pretty nice stuff. And of course, you can turn your icons off on your HUD if it gets too noisy. You can just shut it all down. So now you're just looking pretty much at what space and what you're targeting. So they give you fine control on that. And as you can see, it's a virtual stick that they use in this game, but also it's nice, the icons, and I think you see the same thing in Infinity Battlescape. The locations are on the outside ring, so they don't, for the most part, they don't get in your way. As I said, I can turn these other icons off, but you can see like in this direction, and here's other things in that direction. So you still have your focused view, and it doesn't ever really get in your way. So really nice design there. I intentionally.
It's funny you mention the mining there, Eric, because we were just talking about that yesterday. How Jars thinks that it's partly the server-side OCS, so you're getting a lot of latency problems. But I also just don't like the mining mechanic that Star Citizen has. And if you look at games like Eve and even Interstellar Rift, and a lot of games, some of the mining is just kind of like, it's whatever. Like in this, you kind of have to be a little bit interactive, because you can see like, oh, well, this is the rock, this is how many resources are in it, and you can kind of pick and choose as long as it's in range. Eve, basically you click on a rock, it tells you what it is, and you just zap it. It's been a long time since we played Elite Dangerous, but I didn't like Elite Dangerous because they were so wishy-washy on what tech is allowed. Everyone wanted tractor beams for mining, but they're like, no, that doesn't work with the lore system. And it's like, okay, well then, how does the interdiction stuff work?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I think I would like them to give us more details on some of these things. Some of it still feels like they have an idea, but they don't have a clear direction, and that they may have a clear direction. I just wish that part of open development was a bit more open. So we've got this this is like your engineering terminal, where you can group different things into different power groups. You can have like different reactors in different sectors of the ship running power independently. So you can kind of just go through everything and turn systems on and off independently as you need them or don't need them. It's pretty cool stuff. Oh, this is a really good one here. Okay, for navigation. Lightning, go ahead and come on down here real quick. I want to show them this is why this is important.
Oh, the big globe.
The globe, yeah. The navigation here. Remember, they have ships like the 600i. They're going to have those exploration globes and stuff like that. All right, Lightning. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and start selecting a destination. Like zoom out to the larger scale. Now you're going to be able to see. It's going to should show what he's doing on my screen. So that's one of the nice things. Right now it starts. Okay, now he's gonna. Okay, now he's zooming out. Okay, now go ahead and just select something. Select the system that you want to go to. Doesn't really matter.
Let's see if I can find it again. Where's our favorite system? Might have to zoom out a
just
little
pick one,
bit
dude.
more. No, I'm gonna find the favorite system, the one we were just at.
There.
Whatever. We'll just click on this one.
There you go. That's what I want. Okay, so
Plop.
you can see the route that he's plotted, and you can zoom out. You can see that the universe.
It's pretty big,
okay,
but if you zoom out too much, I don't know if it goes out that far.
Yeah. So there's plenty of systems to explore. Yeah, there's the amount of customization in this game is amazing as far as what you can do with it. Like in the computer terminals, you have these little things here. You can put customization chips in, and they do different things. This is the hacking terminal. So from here, you could have a dedicated computer operator that's going to go ahead and use electronic warfare on your opponent's ship, shutting things down: thrusters, weapons, shields, warp, any of it, anything you want to shut down to keep them from escaping or to keep them alive. So the Star Citizen talks about having, electronic warfare and things like that. These kind of implementations are very interesting, and as you can see, it's such an interesting aspect of combat. I mean, think of the advantages you could have if you could shut someone's shields off, or their engines off for that matter. So they've got that going on right here. And once again, more people you have in the ship, the merrier, because obviously as a pilot, I can't do all that stuff at the same time. The ship has possibility. It just has to be, the more people in it explores more of that possibility. Your weapons terminals here. These are your CPU. You can only carry as many weapons as your computer can handle, and fire as many weapons as your energy can handle.
It also includes systems like your shields.
Right. So the good thing about these kind of building games is that they kind of auto balance themselves. Like everything is running on a set of rules. Every block, every piece of weight, every mass. So basically, it just kind of all blends together relatively smoothly. Once it doesn't matter how big you go or how small you go. There's always a trade-off.
Yeah, I don't know how easily it is to transfer target information in this game. And I don't know if it even does. So I guess that'd be kind of a negative.
It's kind of walking into a glass wall. Gotta be smarter than the glass, I guess. So yeah, this is. You even have life support. This is something that, we have in Star Citizen. Our ships have air, but we don't seem to have any way for that air to. There's no like air cartridges for the ships or anything like that. I hope that comes along the line. But here, it's using oxygen. As we're breathing, we're generating carbon. So I can go ahead and take the carbon out, and then I can use that for crafting, which is kind of a cool recycling. And these are all different fuse boxes for controlling. But I don't know why I have two fuses.
I don't know why you have them at all. You only have one power grid.
Oh well, they can access it anywhere. It's all good.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. They take it the respawn chamber. Obviously, we wouldn't want a respawn chamber in Star Citizen. That might be a bit much, beds and things like that. But this game is I'm still blown away that it's just a small developer making something that says, hey, go as big as you want, bring as many as you want, and it's really kind of an ultimate multi-crew sandbox in that regards. Only limited by your imagination and I guess your desire to go into riskier areas for the better goods.
To me, it seems like Star Citizen, they might have started off with rules, but like, oh well, that rule doesn't work for this ship we're making, and they go lax on them, and they just keep like making exceptions. It's like, oh well, it's fine, we'll just do this instead, and then they just keep going back on it. And
well, ideas are outpacing rules, maybe.
Yeah, so, they're suffering not for a lack of understanding or anything, but just the way they're developing it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, and obviously I don't have the freedom of editing to be like, hang on, let me collect my thoughts, and then I'll explain this better.
Well, here's the torpedo room, and actually the weapon room in general. You can load 4 torpedoes into these chambers. It kind of rotates, kind of like a revolver, as it loads them in one at a time. And the person here will basically select the torpedo or multiple torpedoes, and then go ahead and select the target, and then fire the torpedoes, which will track. So I think this is the rear torpedo launcher. So once again, you can coordinate with missile guys, and he could be unloading different types of missiles. There's different kinds. They've added just recently like sidewinders and group missiles, those kind of things. Obviously, just a storage bay here. But let's see here. Oh yes, of course, crafting and stuff, which is, you think of like mining and refining, then that's all here, putting together different resources and to come out with, to produce different goods. Of course, harvesting and mining here. And I guess I didn't empty this thing from last time. I thought I did last night. Oh well, whatever. All right, so let me jump over here. Now I don't have any way to get to the lower deck because of I can't make a neck. I'm in the neck right now, but I can't make a thing that's thin enough to go up without causing issues.
The problem with building with blocks.
Yeah, building with blocks is the limitations. So here's the front torpedo room. And that's why I have the storage down there, because he's gonna have to carry them up. So I really make him work for it, because you got to carry a torpedo up some stairs like a stairmaster. Whoever's gonna be down here is gonna be like really, really healthy. Okay, so you also have, and then one person down here also dealing with engineering. He can be the guy setting your warp drive, in a sense, rift generator. Basically, you have to get these upgrades. Like I have the tier 1 ship right now. There's like 3
I get
tiers.
lost in your ship so easily.
Yeah, you went to the upper deck on that side, didn't you?
I don't even know where I am anymore. Your ship is
there you
so
go.
convoluted.
It is not convoluted. I spent a lot of time making
It is so confusing.
It makes sense to me. That's all that matters. Shut up.
Yeah, the only person who can fly it is the engineer who built it. Oh yeah, it's just down on subdeck A4. Yeah, just walk
In the
up,
left
take
pocket
the left
full
stair,
underneath
take
underneath
a
the
right,
gerbil
go
cage.
through this corridor, and there you go. You're
So, yeah, here you can find out where you can set where you want to go, and then it'll go over here and set your mass, and you have to have these kind of fuel that basically activates a wormhole. Yeah, xanthium that activates a wormhole. So you can have someone actually running all of that, and there's just so much stuff you can do. Here I've got salvaging.
There's a crew teleporter or
That's
cargo
right.
teleporter as well.
Yeah. They put a cargo. There's not a lot of room for cargo up here. I put the cargo teleporter down there so they can move it away. But yeah, salvaging mechanic. When you kill ships or enemies, you can salvage their remains. And if you don't want something, well, you can just eject it there into space. So salvaging is this floor right here. Now, I did have a gas miner, but it took too many high-end resources, and so I stripped it out because it wasn't going anywhere.
It is too expensive.
Yeah. And of course the engines and engineering. Shield generator, which you can actually turn the power limits down. You don't have to actually turn them all the way off. You can just pull it down. Or ship-wide shield output, you can just pull that down as well.
And then while he's not looking, you can disable the generator.
No.
No shields at all.
Not in an asteroid field. That's not good. Oh
That's fine. That's what armor's for.
That's what armor's for. So yeah, this kind of game. It's not just the fact that everything's running off a shared power pool. All the different ways that systems work. There's just so much. You can have an entire server of players on one ship and all have different things you could be doing. And we don't even have all the equipment on the ship. There's strip miners. There's now what they've added something you can have hangar bays, so you can actually dock a ship in a ship.
Yep. You can have hangar bays, and the mass of the ship docked is applied to your main ship, as well as however large your cargo bay is. So, like, you could make, like, if you dedicated a space in this ship, and you made, like, a little runabout, you just left me behind. I don't know where you went.
I went to the bridge.
You could, let's see, current ship, you can launch runabouts, basically. But their mass is still applied to the mothership. So it's not like you have free weight.
But that's the thing is like in Star Citizen, everyone wants to kind of be their own pilot, and I get that. I mean, I really do. I own a lot of ships, 40 at this point in time, and 10 ground vehicles, but I still look forward to being a crewmate as much as being any sort of pilot. To me, if they oversimplify the mechanics, now I still think you should be able to fly anything you want solo. I think it's just so important that we don't oversimplify multi-crew to the point it's just a nicety. I really think I want to see people playing together in Star Citizen, and right now, even the way it is right now with turrets, people generally speaking, well, because turrets aren't too good either, they don't really play that much together. You can go out in a system, you do see some people from time to time, but most of the times I just don't see them together.
Is she going to be a mad scientist and inject them with morphine?
What are you talking about? Oh,
Eric's talking about the Cutlass Red and and stuff.
Yeah, that's about as big as I wanted to go on medical for that.
That's kind of a joke from my Arma games we've been playing. We started playing with Ace.
Go ahead and travel off and show them the travel thing, how it works. And
I always make a joke about it because when you're hurt in Arma with the Ace, you have you're in pain, so you have to get rid of your ship is so much slower than mine.
Well, that's the point. I mean, it's Star Trek thematic.
So it's kind of I'm in pain. Time to self-medicate. Morphine.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I think that would play Star Citizen for the RP portion of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, when I used to play Star Wars Galaxies, there were a lot of people who would just sit in cantinas and would just have conversation. Now, if you ever play Star Trek Online, stay away from Quark's bar. Things get a little NC-17 in there. I'm just saying. You're like, okay, I just came in here to buy some stem bolts, and suddenly someone's like, yeah, I don't need to read that in local chat. Take that to
the
privately.
Argonian maid.
Yeah. No, yeah. Try to warp us to somewhere else.
I'm actually gonna go pick up a mission really quick.
Oh, that'll work. If you want, you can pick up a combat mission. That would be solid enough. I've got ammo.
I mean, if you want to risk your ship, sure.
It's not a risk in this sector. I did several combat missions yesterday. It's tons of them.
All right, let's see. What's the hardest mission they have here?
Besides, I got weapon control now. I'm in charge.
Let's see. It doesn't look like there's any combat missions.
Really?
Yep, really.
Man.
Holy crap. Here's a mission to deliver 15,236 oxygen.
No, don't bore them with all that. We'll just yeah. We'll just go somewhere else.
It's a delivery mission.
Yeah, just
get the stuff.
Get back to the ship. We're not gonna worry about
here's an easy one.
My co-host is being uncooperative here. He's fired.
It's freaking 8 things. It's one box. One box.
I'll set the waypoint for you. There you go. So yeah, even something simple like that, me being able to set his waypoint for him. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna let you fly. I'm gonna sit back here. I'm gonna sit back here. No, I'm gonna sit here so they can see all that stuff.
Whoop. All right, here comes one of my biggest complaints. It's related to our last live stream.
Oh,
here we go.
Yes.
Something that I hate.
All right, 260 days until we 2,602 days until we get to our location. So, thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna make this our own desert bus. We're gonna take this all the way.
So, I don't know if the game is 1-to-1 scale with everything. I'm just assuming it is. So, right now, the little ship thing says we're doing 5,394 meters per second, which is pretty quick. But if we jump it up, now we're doing 48 kilometers per second. That's a whole lot faster. Probably faster than any man-made, even like Voyager. I don't know how fast Voyager is going now. Jump it up again. I think there's 9 different warp levels. Now we're doing 438 kilometers per second, and that's per second per second.
And you increase your energy draw too as you're doing this.
Yeah, every warp is like 1,000. It's like 1,000 power per warp tier, so you use even more power. And now we're down to 32 days. We jump it up again. Now we're just at an obscene almost 4,000 kilometers per second. It would still take us 3 days to get to this location.
These systems are pretty much the scale. I mean, like 1-to-1 as far as size goes.
So here's 9 hours, and this is at 35 million meters per second. I'm not quite sure if that's the correct terminology. Now, I'm assuming the C stands for constant, aka the speed of light. So now going the speed of light to travel 10 AUs, it would take us an hour. I don't know if that's true or not, because I believe it takes 8 minutes for light from the sun to get to Earth. So that may be off.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on how far that planet's supposed to actually be.
Well, I mean, if they're using actual AU, because an AU is the distance between.
Well, it's 8 AU, and it takes about 8 minutes for the light from the sun to the Earth, and that's 1 AU.
Yeah, so, that's 1, so you times it by 8.
Yeah, so I mean, it's probably pretty. Yeah, it sounds about right. So
maybe it is then.
Step it up.
All right, so we'll jump it up again. And here's 6 minutes. Now, this is 9.57 speed of light or whatever. To me, 6 minutes is a pretty reasonable travel time. If this was as fast as the ship would go, I'd be okay with this. We did discover something that is interesting. Because like in Star Citizen, it's basically just an autopilot. You really can't do anything. This is a lot more interactive. Like I can totally control the direction we're going, you know. But it does seem like if someone's not piloting the ship, there's a safety mechanic that kicks in and shuts down your warp. So you would have to sit here and watch it. But if you had multiple people, everyone else can be running around the ship, looking at sensors, scanners, you know, map information. I don't know, whatever. They could be moving crates around, harvesting stuff. About 500 seconds.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But I'm impatient and lazy, so we're gonna jump it up. 39 seconds, not fast enough. Let's go warp 9. Okay, here we go. 2, 1, 0. Oh,
Oh, yeah. No,
drop
it will
down.
step you down automatically if you near a gravitational body. I always kind of go. I always move my target off a little bit in case it fails. That way I don't run smack into a planet.
Oh, we're going maximum speed, fast as possible.
Oh, goody.
Because I'm impatient, you know,
It's
I'm
kind of
just
like
gonna go
gears.
flat out.
It's kind of like gears. You know, up and down.
Yeah. You're shifting up, or warp levels, you know, whatever you want to look at it. The complaint is that Star Citizen is they're unrealistically planning out their warp speeds.
Or at least maybe not unrealistically, but there's going to be complexities there that may arise. But you know,
they're either going to have to massively downscale the scope or size of the universe, or they're going to have to bring up the speed of quantum travel, which goes against their lore that they've established. Oh, we can only go whatever percent of the speed of light. Well, unless you want to have, you know, many days of travel time, which frankly your player base is not going to enjoy. Even the most hardcore people that are like, I love travel time, are not going to leave the computer running for 6 days to travel between 2 places. It's not going to happen. There's a little bit more active piloting here as I try and keep us on target.
Yeah, the closer you get, you can fly smack into the station, which you know isn't good for you.
I don't know if you collide with objects when
I really don't want to find
warp.
out.
Well, let's find out.
No. Dude, seriously? We spent all day yesterday trying to get this ship built, and like you say, let's experiment with ramming a station to see what happens. Oh my gosh, dude, I just had a heart attack.
We're doing the what's the Star Wars hyperspace ram or whatever.
Yeah, that only works in
20%
in bad script
officially.
writing.
So if it's 20% officially and it's 1/3 scale, someone else has to do the math because I don't know what that'd be. But even still, that's not very fast.
So yeah, this is kind of, I said, it's a fun little game on Steam. I think it's like $20 or something like that.
It's like 20, 25.
Yeah, and you know, and it's we play on a not the main server because it always seems to be behind on a build or something weird. I don't know why, but
I think the main server right now is bugged because of the last patch, and I don't know why they haven't just shut it down and restarted it, but it seems like they're not. So I'm not quite sure what's going on.
So I just wanted to kind of introduce this a little bit to you. So basically I want to check a chat here, see if anyone has any questions or any concerns about multiplayer. Anything at all about Star Citizen's multi-crew functionality, multi-crew design that's concerning to you, because you know this is the part where I'd like to get more into an open discussion. I just wanted to demonstrate some of the things here and basically just kind of open it up to you guys, because that's the whole purpose of these live streams. So
All right, where's your stupid transporter?
It's right here. It's right next. It's right here. It's right here. Right next to us.
No. I want to transport the cargo.
Go down to you can go down. Yeah, you can go down to the refinery room or whatnot.
All right. Let's see. Let's see how long it takes me to find this.
This should be interesting.
Just walking around. I think the saucer section area isn't too bad. It's when you get to like the hull area where it's like, why is it all crazy like this?
Because I had to make it fit.
Well,
I had to gut the whole ship.
The weapons. Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna wait right down here for him.
Refinery system. Here we go. Yeah, I'll get there eventually.
Right. Exactly. You talk about the usability of a single person, and you end up creating simplified systems that aren't cooperative. That is correct. Let me give you one of the most instantly egregious examples I can think of. You know, you had the Banu Defender, okay? And I made a commercial, a joke commercial about the Banu Defender. They said the Banu Defender is a fighter that's made to run with a pilot and a gunner, and the gunner is the one who runs the guns. Okay, so they focus on single player so much Oh yeah, and also you share rewards and when he turns in a mission. Look at that. Everything was split between us. Nice, huh? So anyway, so the thing is that then with the like interactive mode, the pilot controls the guns, and what's the gunner do? So the whole idea of that ship was destroyed by a mechanic they used to simplify the gameplay before the ship was even made. Oh, thank you.
It was the reward.
Yeah, put it here.
So now you have nanobots for nanobotting.
More nanobots. But yeah, that's you're right. The whole thing of wanting everyone needs to be Maverick. You know, and even DCS recognizes not everyone's Maverick.
Talk to Magoose.
Yeah, even DCS recognizes that Maverick isn't Maverick. They're gonna go ahead and you know have gesture AI. They're gonna you're gonna have another player running in the back. You know, they recognize that the multi-crew functionality of that aircraft is what makes that aircraft.
Here's a search and destroy mission on a very glitchy console.
Yeah, and we really do need that AI in as soon as possible as well. The crewmates, things like that. I think maybe when some of that stuff comes in, they can start stripping some of these less mature mechanics out. And you know, I'm not trying to make the game so a guy can't just get up and play it, but there needs to be a reason for these large ships to exist. There has to be. Otherwise, a lot of times it feels like Star Citizen is focused around the single person fighter concept. And that goes with pacing and a lot of different things, because you've used turrets on fighters. They're very hard to use, and they're hard to use on big ships that are slow. And they're
even hard to use in Interstellar Rift, but that's because they're not detached.
They're not.
From
Yeah,
the
they're not.
ship.
That's my big complaint. Is their turrets? They're not decoupled from the body movement. But that's something I'm sure they can.
All right, time to warp into the sun. Let's go.
Yeah. We also need a large ship and a large ship system. Yeah, I mean, like right now we were in the Connie, and Lightning could move around any of the systems, shields, whatever, and it didn't matter. It didn't change a thing. On his console, it did, but that. What's odd to me is like they talked about the 2.0 system and all that stuff coming online. I think 3.5 is when a large part of that was supposed to be happening, and not really seeing any sign of that. Not yet. So we're gonna head over and shoot. Now we take weapon control. There we go. And show the weapons off here. At least how the weaponry works. More speed. Don't fly into the sun.
Speed.
Don't fly into the sun.
More speed.
No. At least they physicalize the sun now. Okay,
well, last time we played, the suns actually weren't anything. They were just an icon.
You just fly and suddenly you go, oh, you died. It's like, oh, that's nice.
I think they realized that was bad, so now the suns actually have a visual.
Oh,
we are flying in a what is it? The TOS Connie?
Yeah, it's just a ship I put together with for the game. It's a building game, so just kind of made it, I guess, for the most part. I mean, I got the body off of Steam, and then I tore it apart and reworked it so it did what I wanted to do, because there were some serious flaws in the design. Ooh, let's see here.
Now I get revenge for all your terrible piloting.
Yeah.
Oops. I downshifted too much.
There, I retargeted for you. Look at that. You can just focus on flying, and I'm going to focus on shooting. Alright, so we are in 2. Almost out. I'm going to turn on the weaponry here once we drop out.
There we go.
Activating guns.
Missile lock. We don't have any missiles, do we?
Well, it says missile lock. I think it's just a new mechanic, but I unlocked that target, so.
Good, we got math being given to me.
I think we're still too far.
Yeah, I think you have to be within like 2 kilometers.
Yep, I guess you're right.
I had to watch the stream because all I see is just lasers.
And
Okay,
these little
yeah.
parts around here, that's salvage. Now that I've killed that guy. Oop.
Whoa, reverse. And here we go with the terrible piloting. And we just got $7,000 for murdering things. And a whole bunch of oxygen.
All right, so now I can show them the salvage.
Whoops.
So
Thought I hit X to stop, but I did not.
Put the weapons away because that's a power drain.
Quite a bit one, too.
Yeah, surprisingly so. All right, so I'm going to go to... There we go. I'm going to go to the warp area. Oh, thank you. You put the exact time for AU on there.
Yep.
All right. So Lightning says my ship's convoluted, but I don't know. I know where everything is.
You know where it is because you've probably spent like 600 hours building the ship.
Not that many. So I'm going to set the salvage there, and basically this nitrogen is really good for
bullets.
Yeah, bullets, or even the pulse laser ammo.
It's basically the component you need for making bullets.
Which is funny because you shoot enemies and then you end up they end up giving you ammo by their very existence. So let's see here. All right, let's check a chat real quick here. Yeah, their scale's pretty good. Good.
I still think it's gonna need to be reworked, especially when you start. Like, for example, that's just between the sun and Earth. I mean, without looking it up, what's the difference between Earth and Jupiter? And then do the math for that, and how many hours or days will it take to travel at whatever the 0.2 C. I mean, I guess you'd have to third it, but still, I mean, it's a long time. And I'm impatient, and I think most gamers are.
See, I'm not. See, that's one spot we almost never meet eye to eye on, because I'm like all about the atmosphere and the experience of it, and you're like, get there now and kill crap.
No, I'm not really about get there now and kill crap. Well, I'm just more about wasting my time.
Yeah. Well, maybe not kill crap, right? But let's see your current ship, and I mean, look at the cargo.
It all comes down to pacing, right? I mean, you're never going to make everybody happy, right? Look, here's a great example. If they have, oops, I just rammed into that salvage and knocked it away. But like, if they do fast travel times, if they do it stupidly fast, I'll think it's dumb because it's like, this is unrealistically fast. If they kind of make a compromise in the middle where it's like, oh, okay, well, it takes between 1 to 10 minutes to get to any location in a galaxy. That'll probably be okay. Maybe traveling from one end to the other in 10 minutes is a little unrealistic. But something reasonable. And I'd be okay with that. But a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that's not realistic. It takes blah blah blah. Here's all the math." And realistically speaking, the people that start breaking it down in math, you're never gonna please those kind of people, because unless it's a 1-to-1 scale recreation, they're not gonna enjoy the game. But if you do that, you're making, like, let's say 100 out of 10,000 people happy. So there needs to be some kind of compromise in the middle, and I think they're going to have to increase the travel speed,
or at least have the travel lane idea or something along those lines. Some sort of option where there's the major travel lanes are significantly faster, because they don't want to strip out the exploration stuff. That would be the death of the game. There's so many people who want to be explorers and smugglers, and if you kind of relegate all of them to just the main route, I mean, or make it too easy or too quick, it's going to be too hard for bounty hunters to work if travel time's too quick, that the smuggler can get past them too easily. A smuggler could try to take a major lane, but then he's risking police and things. There's all sorts of different. You need to have these trades-offs. So I mean, I love simulation too, and I agree with your sentiment there.
The problem with that is fun is subjective.
Right, that is the major problem. Fun being subjective, and so when you're looking at design is objective. Now, Star Citizen should be a sim light. That just means there's some properties that they're just sim enough to make you feel like it's plausible, but maybe not so sim that it makes systems unwieldy. As if you were to take Star Wars, okay, for example, and add more physics to it, so it was just a bit more, a little less arcadey than what Star Wars flies, just in general. And they say it's supposed to mimic World War II kind of combat in space, but I don't know. To me, it's like it doesn't even seem to fully do that. It still seems it's I don't know. It seems like a bit more. It's just a bit more. But like if you were to like mix that Star Wars experience with like the Expanse, like I think it's what Chris Roberts is kind of what he wants to do is Wing Commander meets the Expanse. It could work.
To interrupt Jarvis's long tangent,
Sorry.
we've talked about that before. One of the things I don't know if I talked about it in the last stream. We were talking about how trade lanes, places that are well traveled, you'd have there'd be like a speed cap, and it's like your engines can go this fast, and you're always going to get that speed in a trade lane. But for example, if you're going somewhere where it's like this is not very well traveled, you'd have a speed malus applied, and if you were exploring in a totally random area, you'd have an even bigger speed malus. But you could also add into a system like that by adding in okay, well, the better sensors you have, you can scan farther ahead so you can detect if there's any anomalies or whatever, and that would remove some of the speed malice. So then it would dictate to your quantum drive, and depending on how big or how efficient it is, that's where your actual your speed of percent of light, that would where it would come from, and then you'd have bonuses or negatives.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Like you know about space being empty. And this is the thing is that right now, right now with the 50 player cap, and obviously that with the server meshing and with the server side OCS, whenever it comes in, I still don't see it on the roadmap in particular, so I don't know when that's going to happen. Even with the meshing, where people can bump into each other, it's not just 50 people per server. When you're out in deep space, the odds of you really bumping into another player unintentionally is going to be remarkably small. Even and you do it with 100 systems, as it opens up, and being down on a planet. On top of that, that's why I don't like the idea of designing the game around the PvP aspect of it, because the Twitch. There's two types of PvP. I guess you could say there's a more tactical, flight based, and also like large scale ship kind of PvP, and then there's the Twitch based, which in a lot of regards you still feel that push from that Twitch community that needs to have things very, very snappy, very very fast paced and fluid, which works fine for Arena Commander. But the thing is that it won't.
Interrupting you again.
Go ahead.
Eric brings up the other point. Is something that you brought up, where you actually have basically a Mass Effect kind of system where you have 2 points that are fixed, and it's like you can always go really fast between these two areas.
Yeah, exactly. Trade lanes. Like I said, they have like those ring stations where you would pay a fee to use them because they have to, the company maintains them or whatever. And between those two areas, there's like a field of energy created and travels faster between them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
my
that's
only
doable.
problem with that idea is I don't know if it fits in the currently established lore. I mean, nothing's stopping them from just inventing new lore to fit their needs. It's just the CIG just seems to invent lore as needed to fit their narrative, but then when it doesn't fit the narrative, they go, "Oh well, we can't do that because it doesn't fit in Star Citizen lore." It seems like they're back and forth on the whole subject all the time.
Yeah, well, the lore is in flux as much as anything else. I mean, I think some of that lore, if the lore makes for bad game mechanics, then change the lore, fix the mechanics. It's really that simple.
I agree. So this is our 1 AU travel time. To go the 5 AUs, it take us 40 minutes. I mean, and I can't get up from the cockpit. Though that could be changed in Star Citizen. This is just too long of a travel time.
I need
to
to
sit around doing nothing for 40 minutes.
I didn't realize I see her.
Yeah, in the Star Wars thing, the ship Obi-Wan was flying, it's a Jedi starfighter is that's the only word I've ever heard it called. It doesn't have a onboard hyperspace, and that's why it docks with it so it can actually hyperspace. But yeah, I mean, a system like that, to be honest, would probably fix a lot of the problems they have. It's just kind of like it seems weirdly out of place for a culture that's like, hey, we have these really tiny devices you can install into a small, plane-like ship, and you can travel at a percent speed of light. And I don't know. Is their lore is so weird? It's just I'd think they'd be copying somebody else if they added like Mass Effect relays. Because
Well,
whenever someone talks
but
about that, I just think of Mass Effect
Mass
relays.
Effect didn't come up with that for themselves either. There's been a lot of games that have had relay systems for travel. I mean,
You'd have to tell them to me because I don't know.
yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different science games out there that even if you just want to use the just basic stuff like, let's just say X, I mean, you had the points where basically you jump through. You had like all sorts of different
They're
games
like
with.
space highways in that one.
Well, yeah, but that I think more like Rebirth. But like there's games with jump gates. Um, they've been around. It's not unique. It's not unique to Star Citizen or any other genre if they were to use it. They wouldn't be stealing an idea either. It's like saying that someone made a game of spaceships, so they're stealing. You're stealing from Buck Rogers because they did it first or whatever. Those ships can go
Did they say
wherever.
that heat was a limiting factor? Oh well, I guess that kind of makes sense because of the
Yeah,
way the ships always
now,
downgrade.
I don't think that the heat should be. I mean, I understand the heat thing there. I think if you have a heat as a limiting factor, it should be a situation where it forces you to run slower, not drop out constantly. Basically, where you can push your engines up past, but you do risk damaging the engines, dropping out of warp, all that stuff, or quantum drive, as the case may be. But
I
generally
think it's
speaking,
mostly a case of not enough time and thought was put into it, and hopefully it'll be fixed later.
what's confusing to me, and I guess this is the part that's a little frustrating, because once again, the open development isn't as open as it used to be. It's one of the reasons that it's hard to even do a blast cast during the week because there's a couple nuggets that come out, but that's it. I'm not really going to go out and recycle something that you guys have already.
Oh,
You know
oh!
what?
You just reminded me of the glorious friggin' around the. No, it's not around the verse anymore. The we live on a gas giant, therefore we
Oh,
don't need EVA suits.
yeah, that was a tangent.
Oh man, I mean, I was talking about it to Jarvis in text on Discord, and I was playing it up a little bit, but it really is stupid. It's like, yeah, we're just on this gas giant and we just live here. It's like, um, I mean, I'm not a planet scientist, but I'm pretty sure you can't live on a gas giant in any format. I mean, someone who's smarter than me, feel free to correct me. Give me the math, link me an article, and I'll change my mind. But just at a glance, it's like the gravity would like crush your bones.
Well, they're going for the Cloud City thing. I think is what they uh, the aesthetic. This is where once
Did we
again.
lose the stream?
Uh,
I still see chat, but I'm not getting the live. It might just be me. Yeah, I think it was just me.
Okay, yeah. Well, maybe it was YouTube. I'm still showing on my end, and maybe my internet hicked up. Who knows? But are we back?
Well, I clicked on the live button and it fixed it, so I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
what
Oh,
that was
that's
all
fine. That's
about.
fine then. I don't know. Who's to say? But that's why I keep saying sim light because it's impossible to make Star Citizen a full sim game just by its very nature.
My levels of excitement broke the stream.
So yeah, I mean, basically, we just wanted to show off a game that does multi-crew pretty well, and one of the things that we've referenced a lot of other games when we talk about Star Citizen is because we feel that sometimes, and I'm not exactly sure why this is, that CIG tends to do things in a way that says, I know that everyone's made a round wheel, and I know that wheel rolls really, really well, but can we try for a triangle? And to me, or can we try maybe like turning it on its side and rolling it that way, but flop, 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 flop. Um, I really wish they would have like
If they can come up with a lore reason to explain why they can safely live on a gas giant, I'm all for it. But I feel like they could have just said it's like a super Earth. I don't remember what the actual terminology is, but it's a known planet type, and it's basically very Earth-like, but it's huge, it's monstrous, and it could be like it has a very very dense atmosphere. Maybe it has a very low or very very small core, so the gravity isn't huge. Maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe it's like 1.5 g. But because they're higher in the atmosphere, because it's a very thick atmosphere, their ship can quote unquote float. And I mean, it took me like 5 minutes to think of that. But again, I'm not a planet person, so I don't know if that's possible. But at least it's a little bit more plausible.
Interesting. I am getting the stream thing too.
You are?
Yeah, it's freezing on my side, but my internet's fine.
Maybe. Well, let's blame YouTube.
Let's blame
Whenever
YouTube.
everything's wrong,
YouTube's fault.
Just blame YouTube.
Thanks, YouTube. So anyway, I hope all this stuff is going up because I mean my web connection's fine. So.
Oh, we're under attack.
Oh. Okay. Well, let me fix that.
Wow, I think we're being rammed. What the hell is going on? Yeah, we were definitely being rammed. Jesus, it's like they're flying right into us. What the hell is going on?
I don't have weapon control.
You should.
I do now.
Well, we had half of our shields blown away.
Reverse.
Blah, 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 blah. Looks like their shields are holding at 14,000.
Alright, well I need you to turn so I can shoot someone.
Well, when you target them, I try and aim at them.
Fly straight!
I can't. I'm not allowed. It's in my contract. You just have to deal with it. Get used to flying friggin' Star Citizen Turret Edition, the Interstellar Rift mode. Too far away. No, that was not. Alright, well that was interesting, and hopefully all recorded. So what I was gonna say is most likely the hiccups won't be recorded as far as the VOD goes.
Yeah,
so if people that watch the VOD probably get to hear the whole like, is the stream dead?
Yeah, do apologize about that. But anyway, looks like I have to reload an ammo cartridge after the next fight. But yeah, no, I lost my train of thought because of the
we were talking about gas giants and how they would crush your bones if you lived on them.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah, I mean that's why I said with Star Citizen, that's why they shouldn't concern yourself with like, is it physically accurate? Is the physics perfect? All those kind of things. It doesn't really matter so much because
it does matter though, because it shows that they don't have any idea what they're talking about.
I mean, it's a matter of like sim light, which I mean like
if you went to a car mechanic and he said, "Oh yeah, the flux capacitor is broken. We got to change that." I mean, I
would hug him, thank him for the DeLorean, and then hit 88 miles an hour and be the hell out of there before he got me the bill. I would not be mad at a mechanic that brought me back a car with a flux capacitor. No, but yeah.
But you didn't drive in with a DeLorean. You drove in with a Ford Metro.
Yeah. It's not going to get 88 miles an hour.
Well, it's not because there's gravitational forces and there's atmospheric pressure. If you were high up in the atmosphere, there wouldn't be a high enough atmospheric pressure to crush you, but there's still a gravitational force that's in effect, and I think that's
the problem.
Pretty huge in its range. Like if you look at our own solar system, They've come out and look, you can't colonize anything near Jupiter because Jupiter has so much radiation that throws off that pretty much everything would be massively irradiated. But Saturn doesn't have that same problem, or it doesn't throw off as much radiation. So there is actually potentially habitable or colonizable moons that are around Saturn. So it's not unlikely that you could like be on a gas giant moon,
Keep doing
but
that.
to be on the gas giant itself, it's just that. I mean, it's such a nitpicky little thing to be annoyed by, but it really bugs me that they try like so hard to be like, look how realistic we are, and then they come out with you live on this gas giant.
Well,
It just
I was envisioned
they're
that.
designers and not.
Well, I always envisioned that like not it wouldn't be when they talked about having basically the cities in the gas giants. I always envisioned them being fully enclosed, not.
But that wouldn't matter
Well, I
because
mean
you'd have to
like
have some type of anti-gravity
well, yeah, but I mean like
technology.
way up, like barely like at the tippy top of and then you fly a starfarer down
And
into the
they're talking about an
gases.
orbital station at that point.
Yeah, well, or something along those lines. But the point is, that it was I never imagined it being like let's walk outside with Jimmy and throw. I keep sorry, I keep thinking about this too. You have these people with these open backyards, and they're playing in their floating city, and they throw the ball over. The dog plays fetch, so he just jumps straight off the balcony.
He just falls into the depths of the
I
void.
just get this like it's like Billy. And it's just like I just started like, no, Mr. Wiggles, it's squish.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if it was like Cloud City, this is my perfect example here. Cloud City and Star Wars. There's too many things to star in the thing. Um, uh, we'll get to the PVE thing here in a second, but like in Cloud City, they don't try and explain it. It's just like it's in the clouds. So it doesn't really matter. It's just a set piece. But Star Citizen, they try and talk about real lore and physics and stuff, and then they just ignore it. It's like double standards, much guys.
Oh, back on the PVE versus PvP subject. See, well, that's the thing I was talking about that a little while ago.
Probably were.
Yeah, the thing is that it's a mindset. Like I play PvP and I play PvE. When I was younger, I played almost exclusively PvP, and now he's tumbling here. But now I play more of a mix, more sway towards PvE because I get more enjoyment these days out of helping others. What I found though is that in games that have a really solid PvE mechanic, typically do pretty well for PvP too. But games that have a focus on a PvP mechanic, like quick kills, you know, just all twitchy, they don't have as good of a PvE environment. So that's why I always say you design towards making a very solid PvE experience and a good flight experience, weapons, systems, all of it. And good PvP will come out of that. Because it's just going to take those good systems that work. Don't fly me into the sun.
In 1,872 days, we will die.
that might actually be logistically, realistically, and honestly true. Because no, but you come back to the end of the stream. I died of a heart attack. Could you?
Do I even want to talk about my experience in dogfighting in the current version of Star Citizen?
Yeah, he actually had got massive shoulder pains.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I was using mouse and keyboard, but like I don't know how long the dogfight was. I don't know if you recorded the whole thing, but it was like 10-15 minutes of dogfighting, and the weapons I had, I was in a Hornet civilian version, so not very good weapons, I guess. And I couldn't even take the shields down on this saber. It wasn't until Jarsh showed up after killing his own target to help me with mine did it get destroyed. And even after you EMP'd the thing and tore its shields off, I still don't think I did a whole lot of damage. My whole arm and was just so sore from dragging the mouse, picking up the mouse, and trying to keep him doing this that it's like I can't play anymore. And then the next day it was in my back and my shoulder, and then the day after that it moved to my left shoulder for some reason. And it's like this is not a good system. I don't want to have to not have dogfighting because it physically hurts me to play. It's awful. I mean, like in this game, there's a lot more active piloting, but for the most part, it's very little movements. Like the farther you move outside the circle, the more power goes into your thrusters to turn. But the closer you are, the less maneuvering it is. And the ship that I've been flying is a lot more twitchy than Jarvis's ship, so you only have to do small movements to get it to move around.
Yeah, I made mine intentionally of slow pacing because it fits better for the way the ship is. But yeah, subsystem targeting and things like that. Now you got a lot of people complaining about the automated gimbals and whatnot. First of all, that was always going to happen. Just because there was no other way to run it using a stick, a gamepad, and eventually they should just dump IM entirely because you can balance universal systems. You can't balance ones that are not universal. It just yeah, good luck. Nobody's ever balanced first order and zero order together in the same game ever. So good luck squaring that circle. But the thing is that they the subsystem targeting that's a portion of pacing as well. See, they want to have that close combat. They said, oh, we want that close cinematic World War II style combat. Okay, well, how are you gonna have
Everything's too
subsystem?
fast.
Yeah, well, how are you gonna have subsystem targeting when you have these rapid fire pixel perfect weapons that you can shoot out from several kilometers away with really fast accelerations and vector changes? Don't get me wrong, the flight model is way better than it's ever been. I'm not denying that, but it's like you have these ideas and then what you build doesn't mesh with those ideas. Can you really think that you're going to be able to subsystem target anything with the vector changes and the way ships are going right now? Now, I can see it's very difficult on fighters. It would be very hard for anyone to subsystem target anything a fighter versus a fighter because they're fighters. But even so, I just see that it's not quite there yet as far as the pacing goes to make the subsystem targetings a reality. Let's see here.
We don't want them to go back to the old flight model either. We
No.
want them to improve the current flight model to be a little bit better.
Yeah, they're moving in the right direction. They're moving in the right direction. It's, as I said, it's going to take 6 to 9 months for them to dial in. And having thought about it, they're probably, and I'm just guessing here, but I would say that after they try to start testing the VTOL mechanics for the 3.6, it's going to go back and affect space combat again.
And we still don't have the correct power usage either. If was it Baylor was saying that ships are using 100% power all the time?
No, it was I can't believe I just forgot his name. He always shuffles the cards. Where's the hat? Fedora.
Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway,
someone was saying that the ships are using 100% of their power all the time when realistically they should be using like 33%
each
for
system
each
is getting
individual system.
Yeah, Calyx, as it was Calyx.
Calyx, okay.
Yeah, each system is getting 100% of the power each. So instead of being 33, 33, 33, it's like 100, 100, 100. And
that will drastically slow down the combat, the speed of combat, the either damage potential, depending on how they do their weapons, or the rate of fire, because you don't have enough power to continue firing. So that's going to slow combat down as well.
That's an interesting experiment. I wonder if, since we have the ability to move the power bars in the game, if there's someone who would drop everything down roughly 33, 33, 33, then fly, and then see how the things handle.
I think you'd have to do it. I don't know. I mean, you
could do it with the sliders on the panels, but I mean.
No, you mean like just hard limits?
Yeah, like you go to your power thing, you just drag them down to roughly 33% on each one of them, and then fly and see how things handle.
Yeah, so, maybe. I mean, we'd have to jump into the game because I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that right now.
Like that would be.
Yeah, it's in the MFDs where you can set your power settings on different things.
Oh boy, Star Citizen MFDs, they're so fun and lovely.
Yeah, the thing is about like, okay, their problem is as well going back to the V2L issue, and one of the things about Star Citizen, with the exception of your physical weapons, you've got your repeaters and things like that. They're basically infinite ammo. As long as you've got energy, you can shoot. So when you have infinite ammo weapons, having very pixel perfect accuracy is going to lead to massive disaster for anything that's getting attacked on the ground is being attacked by something in the air. Remember the old Red versus Blue? It was one of the first episodes where they got the Warthog and the guys, they hide behind the rocks. They will just wait till he runs out of ammo. And it's like,
And then it was like 2 hours
it's
later,
like,
they're
when
still
does the guy
shooting.
run out of ammo? So imagine, so you got this scenario where he can just put his crosshairs on you and then shoot you from like a mile away, and you're stuck behind a rock. He's just gonna sit there,
Thankfully, the rock can't be destroyed.
yeah. Thankfully, the rock can't be destroyed yet. Um,
Yeah.
but so imagine, like, you remember the demonstration they did where they first showed the Idris. They were missing, and they were missing intentionally. They were missing
Yeah. When
the
you go back and watch that,
yeah.
it's really obvious.
It's very obvious they were missing intentionally. This is where you have to have some level of mechanical inaccuracy, like the shutter, the shake, the weapon spread, because it's one of those things that if you don't start doing that and you have this like point and click, like right now shooting for the most part, if I'm flying, I've got it on my screen right now. If I'm flying and I'm just V2Ling or whatnot, so I'm just hovering around the ground like this, and I can just go ahead and go, okay, I'm going to put my cursor right here. It's really not this. This is not the best example because I haven't really calibrated my joystick on it, but it's not that hard to keep. Once you get your motion, it's not that hard to keep your cursor roughly where you need it to be, and or just like hover steady and just go. I'm shooting here. I'm going to shoot over here. I'm going to shoot over here, and it just gets really really easy. And that's why it's another reason IM has got to go. It's going to cause major problems with people fighting from air to ground, especially if you're on the ground. You're just dead, and that demonstration proves it.
My Arma experience very much says otherwise, as far as infantry versus armor, because the infantry it's a tiny profile. You can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, a Stinger missile might be able to shoot down your $1 billion jet or whatever, just because of the nature. But again, Arma, it's more set in the real world, and things are a whole lot more fragile. But I imagine you'd still have some pretty devastating weaponry. So let's say a guy is sitting in a bush and you can't turn off bush graphics. You're never probably going to see that guy until he shoots you. And if you're going fast enough, odds are you're not going to know where he shot you from.
Right.
So if there was several guys with railguns all sitting in bushes, and you fly up to their base and you're like, aha, I've got a big powerful ship, and then like 6 railgun things hit you and rip your shield or your ship to pieces. I mean, if you were in a big beefy ship like is the Valkyrie is the dropship one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine something like that would be better at ground assaulting because it's like maybe the stronger shields, better armor, and then because you're going slower, you have some time to react. You'd see where they're firing from. But like as far as a fighter goes, you're very limited on what you can do.
Yeah, it's like when you play DCS. Some people say, talking to the face, and I've been making those missions, and we still need to test that third one, by the way, so I can move forward. Anyway, so the thing is that like if you don't have the tags on and there's infantry, you're even if there's like a SAM unit just sitting out there in the open, you're not going to see it.
Not if you're really far away.
No. So but even if I wanted to take it out and I was flying the Harrier in DCS, it's not going to be like me just putting the cursor over it like this and just shooting it. That's not how that's going to work. It's going to work very much like a helicopter. It's going to require coming in at the right angle. You can end up drifting left or drifting right, and trying to control. And then you also getting shot at. It's a much more complicated thing than what we see right now. And they just need to make sure that there is some vehicular shutter, shake, shimmy, that the weapons aren't just one bullet following the other in exact, as far as like maybe like the energy repeaters and stuff. So it's a little bit of spread doesn't hurt. In fact, it also helps reduce the requirement for needing to be pixel precise, because when you saturate an area, it's more like, okay, look at, I don't know how people play DCS.
Someone shot from that bush over there. Fire everything.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot that. I'm going to saturate that area, over there. That's, and the person still might live. They still might be able to get away. But
if they get hit in the leg or something, then they're like bleeding out. They're crippled. They have to stop and heal, or they can't run away as fast.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. As I said, when 3.6 comes out, basically, I think you're going to see a revamp in space again. That's just because they'll have to make it mesh with the V2L. And someone was posting on the forum saying that, and it was an interesting argument. They're talking about how that a fully loaded freelancer would have to have this much acceleration in order to lift off. I'm like, but you're confusing. I think they were using tungsten as a reference. just because you can carry something space-wise doesn't mean you can carry something mass-wise. I mean, a fully loaded cargo bay of tungsten versus a fully loaded cargo bay versus of styrofoam is not going to be the same animal.
Ah, there's a spider on my desk. Must murder. Missed. Damn it. All right, well, there's a spider on my desk. It's under my keyboard now.
If he screams like a girl, I'm still turning that to a highlight stream for someone sometime in the future.
Well, we were talking about this at one time. The cargo and mass thing.
Right.
The ships need to have a tonnage limit because what you can carry would be dictated by your engines. You know, your ability to push mass, ability to stop mass.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing. Like talking about right tool for the job and stuff like that. Well, just because you can't fit something doesn't mean you should. So, I don't know. There's gonna be some planets that transporting cargo is gonna be very expensive. In fact, it may pay well to deliver there too because you can only get like small amounts. Like, yeah.
Or you have to bring in the biggest dropship you possibly can.
Right.
Even though you're only carrying like a couple tons of cargo, just because you need the extra thrust.
It sounds like we're playing Frontier Pilot Simulator. Yeah. They actually gave me a copy of that, and I did several videos on Frontier Pilot Simulator. I'm actually waiting to go back to that when the cockpit when the
first person mode.
Yeah, the first person cockpit gets developed. That was what I'm waiting for. I was like, I kept telling Lightning in the playtime, I was like, this would be great if I had a cockpit view. And I'm like,
yeah.
And then they announced that they're building a cockpit with workable, systems. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait before I do the review on that.
Yeah, there were some other things that they were working on as well. You're like, yeah, this game needs this. I don't remember what they were.
But yeah, Frontier Pilot Simulator is a wonderful example of mass, especially with my videos where I learned quickly that I was overloaded and then turned my plane into a submarine. But yeah.
Ooh, that was the best time.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was a learning experience. So. Yeah, absolutely. That's an example. See, that's when we talk about, like, if you look at other games, if you look to other games, you don't have to perfectly copy them. Like, there's things in this game that I love. There's things in that I don't like. And what you do is you just take the best, dump the worst, and go from there. All right, anyway, guys, I think this probably went longer than I expected. So.
Oh yeah, it was an hour plus stream here. I thought we were gonna be like 40 minutes, maybe hour at the most.
Yeah.
Now we're at like almost an hour and 20.
Yeah, and it's gonna get real noisy around here shortly. So let's just get it noisy. Trust me, I live in a place that's very noisy sometimes. So anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap this up here, and I appreciate you stopping and joining the conversation. These are kind of random, as I said. New to the whole streaming experience. I'm not very good at it, but anyway, I appreciate your participation.
Good at streaming. That's the point.
Yeah, maybe it is. All right, everyone. We will catch you on the next one, and with more of the extra cast blasts, where we just kind of show you all the wackiness that goes on, including fun with turret contortions and stuff. So.
Oh, that was the best part.
Indeed. Later, everyone.
Bye-bye.